Hey guys, welcome back to the Coffin Nail. My name's Lightbreaker, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I've been looking forward to having this band on the show since the very start. Today, I am chatting with the one and only Wraith. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Oh, it's a pleasure, guys. I think I played one of your songs in the first episode of the show that we ever did, so been looking forward to this.
Very cool.
Yeah, sweet.
So on September 24th, Wraith released their fourth album, Undo the Chains, on Redefining Darkness Records, an instant forerunner for Album of the Year. Guys, congratulations on the album.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
man.
man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Now, since you guys started in, I think, 2016, you had an album in 2017, 18, 19, a couple of EPs, but then a bit of a break before the fourth album. So can you tell me the story behind Undo the Chains, how we got here?
Yeah, I think we started writing Undo the Chains in I want to say maybe mid 2019. But we played actually at our last show before the pandemic. We played Intro into Dominator, and that was like the first time we had done that live. So some of them are kind of old, but because of the pandemic, we ended up obviously having to take a break. We couldn't get together quite as often. I mean, we were still all writing a bunch of stuff, and we were communicating pretty regularly. So we were passing riffs around, and I think we were all pretty eager to get back to it. But yeah, I think the pandemic definitely slowed things down. But in the grand scheme of things, I think our goal was just to keep releasing music. So we were able to get an EP and a split out, which was really cool. But this was something we were kind of laser focused on the whole time. This was definitely the big picture, the kind of end game was making a follow-up to Absolute Power.
And did you have it ready to go and then sit on it for a while because of the pandemic?
No, so we recorded like winter of last year. So we've been sitting on it for about 8 or 9 months, which has been painstaking to say the least.
Why did you do that again?
Just
because
production issues with vinyl, and we could promote it properly. You know, our record label really wanted to give it its due. So yeah, we had the songs all done, but unfortunately, because of the way the world was, we really couldn't get it out any sooner. But I can't believe it's here, really.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been interesting doing interviews for the last year. For the first 8 months of the show, it was just great album. Hope we all get to hear it live someday. But you guys are really having a good time. You know?
Totally, yeah.
Gigs are back.
It's been kind of rough. You know, it's really cool to be back on stage. We had some really great shows and opportunities to play, kind of outside of our hometown here over the summer. So that's been a lot of fun. And it seems like everywhere we go, that's like the common denominator. People are just stoked to be at shows again. They're stoked to be hearing live music. And from the stage perspective, for us up there, I mean, we couldn't be happier. It's so cool to see it. So cool to see that energy coming back.
And have you got to play many of the live songs other than that preview before the album was recorded that you mentioned?
Yeah, I think we tried to work in some new songs every show so far.
Yeah, we played maybe like half.
I'd say about half the record, yeah, because we played a couple shows over the summer where we
I don't
played.
think you would really count the intro, but like we played intro,
Yeah,
Dominator,
played Time Winds, Cloaked in Black.
Time Winds, and Terminate. We played once.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, shoot. Maybe about
We played the whole record a couple times.
Not quite a couple that we want to work in, but yeah, we seemed like the response live was great. But it's always cool. I think we've kind of talked quite a bit amongst ourselves. Like I think Matt said it too. Like for us, the mark of a good song and like that, the feedback being like, the crowd hearing a song they never heard before, and then halfway through they're chanting the chorus back to us. That's such a cool feeling. And we were getting that a lot of the Chain songs before anyone even knew what they were.
Yeah, the reaction was pretty. I mean, for that indie show, yeah, the first show back,
Totally.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the music can be really busy, but the choruses are always like you could get them on the first listen. Cloaked in Black, Gate Masters, stuff like that. It's just made for live performances.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Definitely but it does the job.
Yeah.
Fun.
And so will there be more frequent releases or longer waits between albums, like the way you've put out a couple of EPs and splits in between full lengths?
I think we want to try to stick with that formula. It's fun to write EPs. It seems like there's less pressure when you're working with 2, 3, 4 songs. I mean, I think ideally for us, we'd like to do an EP. We'd like to let Chains breathe, do an EP, and then get back to writing for the next full length. But I think we all kind of like the idea of having some, I guess, artistic freedom to play with just one short release as opposed to trying to put it into a whole record.
Yeah, I think the thing is too now, the kind of space we find ourselves in coming off of Chains and the response to that has just been absolutely phenomenal. So we're thankful for all the fans and kind of all the outlets like yourself that are really, latching onto it and kind of giving it its due. It's been great. But I think now the focus for us going forward is really making sure the songs we're going to do in the future live up, and that we keep writing those strong, tight songs that people kind of know us for.
Because really, the album's only been out for like maybe 4 days.
Yeah.
But I mean, the response has been insane. We can't, thank the fans enough for the support. But I don't even want to follow this up anymore.
It's like, it's really kind of intimidating being like, well, shoot, now they saw Absolute Power, now they saw Under the Chains, and everyone keeps getting more hyped, and we keep gaining more followers, fans, whatever, and we kind of have like, I don't know, we kind of have like a standard, I guess, personally, that I feel like we have to at least maintain, if not go above and beyond.
The A game riffs, that's going to be all the I think releases you see from us in the future is definitely we're going to be pushing it and continuing to bring our A game when it comes to that. So
yeah. Well, one of the things that I like the most about thrash metal, I think it's sort of a lost art in many genres, especially in metal, but across everything really. It's one thing thrash metal does well, and you guys more than anything, is key changes. Not every song needs to be chugging in E or what have you. And the amount of key changes you guys have within a song, rather than just this song's an E, this song's an A, it blows my mind. Is that really conscious in you when you're writing a song that to shift things up you will put in a key change, or how does that become part of the process?
I wouldn't say key change specifically, but I think the idea of keeping a song fresh is really important to us, or making sure that there's something about the song that's unique, because truthfully, like, this is the first time we've ever had a song that's exceeded 3 minutes. And I think one song is even more than 4 minutes. Like, we don't ever sit down and say, let's write a 3 minute long song. Like, let's write a song, but we're not going to overdo it. We want to make what the song has, the kind of meat and potatoes of the song, catchy and unique in its own way. But if the song ends up being 2 minutes, then it's a 2 minute long song. We're not going to shoehorn 10 more riffs in there. We're not going to add another section. We're not going to double it. If we play it at practice and that feels right, as long as it's got some individuality, then that's kind of what we're going to go with.
Awesome, man. Well, I guess that's how you can play half the album already in a couple of shows when the whole album's like 30 minutes long.
Right, yeah. That's one live set.
No, for sure. And so this is the first full-length album since Jason's you joined the band on lead guitar, right?
Yeah. So with that kind of interesting, I mean, I've been playing with these guys now for, probably 3 or 4 years, and kind of a live and like a session capacity. Going back to Heed the Warning, the second record. I call it the second record. But yeah, I did a guest solo on the song System Overlord, and it was a total blast. It just came over. The guys reached out to me because I've known all these guys for damn near 20 years now. I mean, we're all friends. We went to high school together. We've been in each other's weddings and all that stuff. So it was kind of a no-brainer. They knew I played guitar, and I was really, supportive of the band before I was in the band. So yeah, it was weird, man. It was like every release, my involvement just kind of grew. And after we kind of started playing live and saw the impact that having the 2 guitar attack live really kind of brought to the proceedings, it was kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, it was cool, in 2020, kind of when we were solidifying all the song structures and kind of writing for it. It was the 4 of us in the room jamming, and that's kind of been the process. And I think it was great because everyone really added their own, spice to the songs, their own parts, and everyone's got a different style. We all come from different musical backgrounds. So it's kind of cool to see how that evolves in the writing room.
Yeah. And so do you feel a bit more personally or emotionally invested in the new material versus the older stuff?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think for me, it's like it really starts with Power with that, right? Because I was in the studio for quite a bit of the time we were recording that. Just kind of like, oh, let me try a harmony there. I'll do this, and it seemed like that stuff went really well, and got good reception. And then when we did the split that came out, I think that was last year as well, right? Was it 2020? We did the Speed Armageddon split. It was the same thing. It was. The plan was to do one solo, and then we ended up doing, pretty involved lead parts on all the songs. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, I love the songs. I think that's the cool thing we can kind of say with just like our process now is that all the songs kind of belong to everybody. Everyone kind of, has opinions on them, whether we're going to change something or, someone writes a better part. It's just, it's all kind of what's going to serve the song best.
Nice. Well, you know what? That's kind of a nice segue into a question that immediately jumped to mind first time I listened to the album, and it's Born to Die. Like, I love all of the album, but Born to Die jumped out to me straight away. I'm like, yes, there's Motorhead, there's Maiden, but with the fact that your style is very attributing to classic metal bands. Is that something that you hold consciously when you're writing a song? Do you try to avoid that, to lean into it?
I think I think Born to Die is a pretty unique song. I don't think we really have a song that sounds like that. But that was actually like a scrapped Absolute Power song that me and Chris were writing prior to Absolute Power for something different, just kind of messing around. And then we kind of tore it all down and rebuilt it. I changed the lyrics and, simplified a couple of things. And it truthfully, like when I listen to the record, that's still one of my favorite songs. I think it's just cool to have a real mid-tempo, kind of in my opinion, a very classic heavy metal song on a record otherwise full of like, it's got Cloaked in Black on it too. It's got Scorch on it, but then you can do a song like Born to Die and it doesn't feel like it's out of place. And that's another thing we talk about all the time too. It's, once the Wraith voice is over it, like it'll probably feel like a Wraith song. So I think we did take a couple turns on this record with a song like Disgusting or a song like Born to Die, where it wouldn't typically be our traditional song. But I think once we get it all together, we kind of start to live with it for a little bit. It becomes a kind of a standout point on the record because it does differentiate itself a little bit.
No, for sure. And you hit on two great points there. One, the voice. It couldn't be anybody else once I hear the vocals come in. And also Disgusting, like that's a punk song in my book.
Oh,
yeah. It's a trash record. That's a punk
that
song.
one was a lot of fun. Yeah, we were definitely having fun when we recorded that one. So just love the energy of that track. Even listening back to it now, that's a total banger. So.
And so, what song are you most looking forward to playing live?
Ooh, that's tough.
Mine's Gift of Death.
Yeah,
even though it's gonna suck ass.
Gift of Death is fun. Reason I
It's
like
gonna suck ass
because it's hard to play.
It's definitely fast. I always joke around with the thrashier songs is kind of like the freight train, and that song definitely has a little bit more of that, like to me, like that Bay Area sound, like early like Exodus or Testament, where it's just just slamming the whole time. It's got that really cool kind of mosh part midsection there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with like I don't know, like a song like that, I really gravitate more towards just for the simple fact that like I love that Bay Area sound. That's kind of my my entry point into metal. So whenever we have an idea like that, there's some stuff like that in Cloaked too that I just love. It's a lot of fun to play. It really gets the audience moving. They really enjoy that shit, and I love playing it. So it's cool too because they feed off our energy and we're feeding off their energy up there. So
yeah, I think that's a lot. I think that a lot of bands sort of forget. They get wrapped up in writing something complicated or flashy or whatever, and it's got to be fun to play. You got to sell it on stage, but they're just fun riffs.
Yeah, huge part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I listen to it, I always think it's like 4 minutes long.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
But then you look at it, it's like it's like 2.5.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I'm excited for Terminate. I know we kind of half-ass played it at a show in Lafayette, Indiana, but it was like 95 degrees in the room. And I was like gonna throw up. I was sweating, like I thought I was gonna pass out.
Yeah, we played for an hour.
So it was kind of half-ass. He didn't do any lyrics to it, but it was just like an instrumental outro type deal. But I think once we get that one synced up and everybody knows it, there's like the chanty parts, the mosh parts. It's got the fast parts.
Yeah.
So other than it's going to give me a little bit of a breather too, which I always love playing drums. Just try to fucking kill me on giving me the set list. They're like, hey, let's add like all of our fastest songs right in a row, and we're not going to actually we want to play 3 more songs in the set.
Yep.
So Terminate, I think it'll be awesome to be a cool outro. It obviously ends the album, so I think it'll be like the perfect way to kind of wrap things up.
Yeah, I think I'm with Mike. Terminate's one that I can't wait to get worked into the live set long term and kind of see some people hopefully lose their minds to it.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. That's my favorite track from the album.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice.
But it's been out a week. My favorite track's probably going to change every 5 days for the next month or 2.
Yeah, I have heard that. People are like, I like this one right now, but I gotta
see where you're at in a week.
Yeah. But hey, when you play that live, you're going to have to get a roadie or something to drag some big-ass chains across the floor at the end.
Yeah, that's right. We could do that. We could definitely do that.
That's Big Ren.
Our buddy Big Ren, get the shovel and the chains out.
Was he the one who made the sounds on the album?
No, we used like
just stock
sounds.
Yeah, we found like samples and stuff. And well, the one thing too, I'll tell you, there's a little Easter egg because no one's put it together
yet.
Don't
tell him.
Oh,
don't tell him.
Okay, I won't.
It's too new.
Oh,
all I'm saying is
there's something to be found.
Listen to Terminate.
It's pretty subtle. Yeah.
I did notice today on the headphones that's before. I thought that the soundbite starts as the music is almost completely faded out, but there's something there before the good music's
You're getting
faded out.
close.
You're very close.
You're getting close.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't
but-
even know what the Easter egg is.
Yeah,
Well,
you do.
listen,
Yeah.
just
You'll have to send us a message if you figure
if you figure it out. It's nothing like crazy, but it's just kind of one of those cool.
The
little
first
things.
person that gets it gets nothing. So
No, they do. I was gonna say
I was
we
gonna
can-
say like $1,000 cash prize.
first person that brings it up. That's why we can't bring it up because
I don't
all
like
the
that
merch.
idea.
It's
Why?
a game show.
One
One
everything
piece of
for
everything
free.
that's going to cost like $5,000.
No, it's not. We have nothing right now. We have CDs and badges.
Anyway, so you can continue with the show.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We're eating up time.
No, sorry, God, I want to just pause this now and go back and listen to it. Like I can figure this out.
Hold on, I'll give you a hint. You have to listen to the whole album to catch the Easter egg front to back.
That's all we'll say. You can review the tape and listen to the hint as many times as you need to.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know, maybe I'll delay releasing this interview just to give myself a little head start.
You can figure it out.
It's really subtle. I mean, it's kind of silly even talking about it, but
Yeah.
it is there.
It's
and
just
we
one of those
purposely
things.
Did it.
Yeah, we're kind of proud of in the end because it's it's cool. I will say this: I'm a big fan of, and I know time has changed just with the rise of streaming services and everything else, but just like the album listening experience. So that was a big kind of thing for us. That was important when we put the record together. Is like for it to be a ride. Like I want someone to listen to it from the very first track, from Undo the Chains to Terminate. And
Yeah.
hopefully not skip anything and really kind of take it all in. So that's all I'll say about that.
Is it something that you only hear when you reverse it?
No, that'd be cool. Maybe for the next record, we'll
That's
figure
a good
that
guess,
shit out.
though. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that would be.
once you get it, you're going to be like, "This was the Easter egg." Now I think I got it.
Yeah, it's
I swear to God, I'm going to be up all night with this. But we should move on, I suppose.
yeah, probably.
So, guys, we have a couple of questions, not from my mind, but from the minds of some mutual friends of ours. So I've sent you guys some video clips here. Would you go ahead and press the video for question 1, please?
Coming right up. Oh, it's downloading.
You know what you're doing.
This is what editing's for.
Cool. And then you want us to reintroduce this section so it's easier to edit? Or-
No, hi, Stephen. Stephen, who edits the videos, is always at this sort of thing. What? Oh, you got it?
Yeah, we just got
We
it.
just got it.
All right, so play number 1 first, please.
Hey guys, this is Frank from the band Cryptosis from the Netherlands. We would like you to tell a bit about your recording process.
Recording process.
All right.
First of all, what's up, Frank? It's interesting. So we've always worked with the same guy, which is kind of cool. So CJ has done everything we've ever released. He's recorded and then ended up engineering it in one way or another. Joel Grind mastered Heed the Warning, but that is the only thing that CJ didn't do for all those records. So the process is pretty cool because it honestly feels like we're just hanging out with a friend. Like when it's time to record, I literally just text CJ usually, and he always gives us a hard time because it's always so quick. Like, oh, about time. And then he comes over with the equipment and we do it all at my house. We're the same room that we write the song in and practice in is where we record the records at. So it's like, yeah, very homey feeling. Usually we just drink a ton of beers and order food and kind of take it easy. But for Chains, we did it a little different. Typically what happens is there was no click track on old records, and I would play a scratch track into headphones for Mike while Mike recorded the drums. After he was done, I would put guitar left and guitar right over it. And then Chris would do bass. Jason would go over and do like any additional harmonies that he had or lead parts for it. Any overdubs. And then we would do vocals last. I mean, I think most of the records we've done have only like Heed the Warning we did in a day. Absolute Power we did in like 2 days.
Sorry, Heed the Warning you did in a day.
Yeah. It was a long day, but it was a day.
Yeah, it wasn't like an 8-hour work day.
Yeah, it was like
it was like 3. We're like 3 a.m. We're delirious, tracking,
Yeah. So for Chains, we took our time a little bit. So I actually pre-recorded all the scratch tracks to a click. I sent them to CJ. CJ put what he likes to call the Wraith tone over it. He has a plugin dedicated to the Wraith. He put the Wraith tone over it, which is just kind of like it would be like if you took a 2-band and like added 3 more volume and gain levels and then turned it up all the way. So we had something to work with, and Mike came by the first day of recording, he played the scratch tracks with the click for Mike, so I didn't have to play them over and over and over again, which was actually really nice because by the end of recording some of those other records, like my fingertips would be falling off from just playing, it's so much guitar. So he had the drums. Once that was done, did the guitar tracks left, right. Chris did bass, Jason did leads, overdubs, harmonies, and then we actually reamped it all through a 6505 and a Mesa 212 to give it a little bit more of that like warm kind of real sound, which was something that I think it really serves the record well. It feels much bigger when you're listening to it, which is cool. Just little things like that. We spent a lot of time. Vocals it's always just me standing in the basement with a microphone and my cell phone notes page open and kind of going through lyric by lyric. But yeah, we definitely Chains took us 2 or 3 weekends, which I guess in the grand scheme of things isn't really that long, but compared to doing morning in a day,
wow,
it definitely added steps to the process.
I definitely think, having been there for the process on the prior couple records and like releases, there's definitely a lot more attention to detail kind of everyone paid in the production phase of the record, because we knew we wanted it to sonically be a step above even Absolute Power and a lot of the prior stuff. So I think now, like, you listen to the records, like, I think all the songs are great, but this record just has that kind of warm, kind of that vintage thing, that vintage sound we wanted, where it sounds huge, it sounds really wide, but it's also it has a lot of dynamics to it. So I think we were able to achieve that just by kind of really taking our time and having that attention to detail and talking about what we wanted the record to sound like before we even started the process. So it was a lot of fun.
Mike's wants that.
Well, I just want to chime in with that, because I remember I specifically, I think everybody did a little bit of it, but like after Absolute Power, there were certain sections in the songs, and Heed the Warning too, that were like, man, we should have done this, or we should have thrown a solo there, or we should have, did a, I don't know, something, we should have added something, and then it was too late because the album was out. And obviously, it is what it is at this point. But there's even songs from like Absolute Power now where we like add a solo in a section of a certain song that we felt like it was a little empty. So on Chains, once we recorded it all, we listened to it a million times and said, let's put gang vocals there, let's put solos here, let's put a lead part, harmony, whatever there. And I think that's what made like Chains sound so much more like.
Oh, we actually demoed Chains. I don't even know how I could have forgotten.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Mike
not usually demo with the albums?
Yeah, me and Mike recorded like rough demos for every song on Chains, like
on like his iPad.
On my iPad, yeah, like my little shitty interface, just so we could do that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, just so we would come in the garage and listen to them and say like, okay, so that part goes two times too long, or we could maybe do something different with this section. So yeah, that was something we had never done before. We talked about it, but yeah, this, I think, just a lot
more pre-production.
Yeah, a lot more pre-production went into Chains, which I think hopefully shows.
Yeah. Well, like, as a fan, it's a sort of progression that you want to hear from a band that plays extreme metal, because it wouldn't alienate someone who loved like Absolute Power. That was my jumping on album, but also it's a bit easier sonically for someone who's not already into that style of thrash, so it pays off. And
I think
I
was gonna say that was kind of like almost not a fear, but like it was almost kind of scary. Like, what if this is too much for our fans? Like, what if they want us to not use a metronome and they want it to be like a little poppy and like, gritty sounding? But I think we still kind of encapsulated that, but just took it to like another level to where we're still organized, but
Yeah, I don't think anyone could say that Undo the Chains is a watered down album by any stretch.
Well, I was actually worried about it. I was like, is this slow compared to Absolute Power?
Yeah.
I know I was like listening in my truck, but then now it's out now, and I'm like, what the fuck was I talking about?
Well, there's definitely some speed
I think that was the thing. Like, once we put Cloaked out for any of the concerns we may have had, or like you're as like artists, I'll say, like, you create something, right? And when it was just the four of us listening to it, it's a whole different vibe, because you're like, oh, are people gonna dig it? Like, there's kind of their fans are listening, they're saying, hey, I love the Absolute Power, like, what are these guys gonna do next? So there's that expectation, which maybe wasn't there before. So I think once we put Cloaked out, saw the response to that first single, it was just like we knew, because we're like, okay,
ship left the ground.
Yeah, we're like, okay, they're gonna love,
Awesome.
The fans are gonna love this record. So and that's been the case. So that's been really great.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I forget that Cloaked is one of the standout tracks because I've already been listening to it for a few months.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that's the first single, so it's been floating around for a while. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Frank, for that question. Guys, if you haven't checked out Cryptosis, go and give them a listen. Similar, like,
I
black
just
and thrash metal.
a little bit ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Very
check them
Very
out.
good. And guys on YouTube, there's a link below. Now, if you guys want to press play on question number 2.
There's nothing. It's all black.
It's all black. Tell you what, guys. That's transferring now, and you guys can download it. Like I said, we'll edit around all this, but how about we just bash on with another question while this is sending, and you guys will get it in a sec, yeah?
Yep.
Sure.
Cool. So one more thing on Undo the Chains is the cover. It's a beautiful painting by Andrei Bushakov, right?
Yep.
Yeah, correct.
So can you guys tell us about what you asked him to do, how you got involved with him for the cover?
Sure. Oh, Chris is the best at telling this story, so we'll let him take
Yeah.
it.
So Matt came up with like a general gist of what he wanted the album to look like. We all thought it was a tight idea, so we don't know too many artists personally, so we asked our fans basically to like pick who we want to have it done. So we posted a question on Instagram and Facebook, and someone tagged Andre. Andre ended up hitting us up an email, and we've been, he did Municipal Waste, Toxic Holocaust records.
Yeah,
So
tons of.
I was like, if we could afford this guy, let's do it. And he sent us our price, and I was like, oh shit, like this could actually be a thing. So we gave him the general gist of what we wanted. I think he gave us like a rough sketch in like a week, and we were like, fuck yeah.
Nice.
Literally, like, yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Unreal. I kind of buried the lead there, actually. Once I realized it was Andre, I was like, I know that fucking name. Why do I know that name?
Yeah.
And I've had my dog 4 years. And 3 years ago, when my wife and I were working full time, we were like, we need someone to help out. My wife met this Irish woman who lives here in Berlin, Angela, and her partner came around for dinner and chatting to him like, what do you do, bro? He goes, oh, I'm an artist. I'm like, oh, cool. What do you do? He goes, oh, I made some album covers. And he doesn't look like a metalhead. He's like, I don't know if you ever heard of Municipal Waste or Skeleton Witch. And I was like, oh, no. What?
Yeah,
Did the Art of Partying?
Yeah.
So I've had dinner with him at the very table I'm sat at now.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
sweet, man.
awesome.
That's
That's
awesome.
badass. That's
Yeah.
a
It's
really
a
cool
small
story.
world, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very cool.
I think for me, like with album art in general, and that's why I'm so proud of the way the cover turned out. Like that's the first thing you see, and especially in our days of the new streaming world here, like the cover really I think sets the vibe or has the ability to set the vibe for what you're about to hear, or if you even want to check it out. There's so many bands out there, so I think having really strong artwork is a huge part of kind of like the concept overall. And that cover is just so cool. I mean, it's just so cool.
I gotta raise my hand.
Yeah, we got the talking stick passed over to you, mate.
Yeah, sorry. No, I just because I'll forget if I don't like make a scene about it, because I have like the shittiest memory lately. But I did see, I don't know where it was at, but I literally saw someone recently, and he was like, well, I'm a guy who literally buys something based off what the album cover looks like. So he bought both vinyl variants just based off how the album art looked. And then he's like, turns out the record's badass. I'm going to go check out the stuff too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, like I don't know, everything about it, just like, it's definitely one of my favorite covers, like not to toot our own horn, because obviously we didn't do anything. Andre did it, but Matt came up with the idea, passed it to Chris, and like it all just came like perfectly into place, and I couldn't be happier with it. And it definitely does set the tone for people, obviously, by that vinyl boy who saw it and was like, well, I just spent $55 on both vinyls just because of what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
He didn't even listen to the music.
That's
So,
awesome, man.
It was actually pretty funny. After he bought 2 of those, he asked us to come to Nepal. He's actually like a booking agent.
Awesome,
oh,
man.
that was the same guy.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Where
that's
was that
cool.
at? Because I remember seeing it. Did he comment on like YouTube or something?
I think it was Twitter.
Maybe that was it.
That was
That was it. I was looking at it earlier. That's hilarious.
Wild. So a Wraith Nepalese tour.
I mean, hopefully so. We want to go everywhere. Our plan is to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah.
If we can afford it, we're there.
It's our job not to fire us while we're gone.
And our wives.
And our
Yeah.
wives
Yeah.
and girlfriends not
Yeah,
to leave
that's-
us while we're gone.
Oh, that too, eh?
You want to try this one?
Yeah, we're trying to get the second. We
That's
have the right
not-
second question?
Did it come in there? It's a bit of a bigger file.
It's not really.
You can see the file, but it's not playing.
Yeah, it keeps saying processing.
Damn.
We're gonna piece this together.
I think. What the?
We're on the
on some
McDonald's.
wonky. Yeah, we're on the.
Sorry,
we
man.
call it the McDonald's.
Morning,
connection.
everybody. Pete from Bloodletter here, coming to you from Death Trap Recordings. I'm curious, how did you guys assemble the record? Meaning, were Mike and Matt tracking together, doing things live, or were you guys overdubbing everything separately after drums? And how did you process Matt's vocals on the record? The effects were really, really cool, and I really enjoy the mix. You guys knocked this one out of the park, and can't wait to play another show with you guys. See ya.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pete.
Peter boy.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you soon, hopefully.
We covered some of that in the first thing,
Hmm.
but I would say all in all, we were all present for all of the tracking of Undo the Chains. I think that was really important. At least to me, it was. Like, I like being there when these guys are doing their thing. I think it's good for support. If somebody gets hung up on a part, or we do have to brainstorm something. Like, I definitely don't want it just to be me and Mike, because maybe we have a different opinion or perspective on a part. And if Chris and Jason can put their input in, it could ultimately make for a better song. So it was, drums were the foundation, guitars, bass, leads, overdubs and melodies, harmonies, solo stuff, and then vocals last in terms of how we piece it together.
And they have he's got like the Wraith effect for your vocals too, right?
Yeah, so once again, CJ's got, we call him Dr. CJ, but Dr. CJ's got a plugin that I think we tampered with a bunch over the course of the first couple records. But I think the long and the short of it is it's just a bunch of reverb. And I don't typically like my voice to be very loud in the mix, because this is the first band I've ever been a lyricist or frontman for. So it wasn't always the thing I was the most comfortable with. But on Chains, he did turn the volume up a little bit. Which I think at this point I'm a little more comfortable, and it's okay, and I'm not so embarrassed when I hear it. But I think initially it was just, how can we distort it enough for it to sound terrifying, but also be audible? Like, I want people to catch words and know what know what's coming across. But yeah, just to try to dirty it up a little bit with some reverb. But it's really nothing too crazy.
Right. Because I'm kind of imagining now getting the original stems, taking the plug-in off, and all of a sudden you sound like Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'll send you a song, I promise.
That would be.
That'd be
Yeah, it's pretty
sick.
scary when we were down there and Matt's recording vocals, like whenever we get to that part of the process, because it's like typically he's got the headphones on, so there's no outside audio. So we're all sitting in the room and you just hear Matt, guy back. Just like, are you okay, dude? But then we hear it in the mix and it's, it's killer. But yeah, it's always kind of scary. Like, my wife always asks, or anyone I show who's not familiar with the band, but maybe they know us, that's really Matt. Yeah.
Why is he so mad?
Why is he so mad? I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's there though.
It's a deep-rooted anger.
And that's another
brilliant.
callback, though, is that we might have only recorded it in 2 weekends, but Matt does not let you go home.
Yeah,
He wants you there at all times. So, I remember.
I think the
Yeah.
vocals went till what, 3 a.m.
Yeah,
So
They're-
I remember Jason had to record his solos at the end of the night, and it was 3 a.m, and Jason's
He's,
in the
falling
corner.
asleep.
He's in the corner trying to pump himself up. But I got a recording of it, and he looks so out of it. He rips this amazing solo.
Yeah, I'm usually the guy that's like, you're not
That was-
going.
that
No,
was
you're
all
not
that-
going
He's like,
anywhere.
you can't leave.
That was all the
Those
gas I had
things-
in the tank,
Yeah,
man. I
it's
think
one
I
of those
used
things
it.
where it gets so far in the process. It's it's not worth it to schedule another day. So
Right.
might as well just try to figure it all out and get it finished tonight. But that also leads to us having 52 beers.
Yeah,
Jason's
that's the problem.
Jason's falling asleep with the damn guitar in his hand.
Because you start drinking at 9 in the morning. Next thing you know, it's 3 in the morning the next night, and Jason's in the corner screaming at himself.
Well, guys,
Yeah,
you're
moments
you're-
like that.
a thrash metal band. You got a reputation to maintain. Come on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You're right.
for better or worse.
You got it. Well, that was
No,
the
that's
thing
awesome.
we had in our jam room. We had our running tally at a whiteboard, and most bands that have the whiteboard, oh yeah, well, we've got to do this
Yeah.
track, we got to get this
Yeah.
solo, we got to do vocals on this song, and ours was beers. What else do we have?
Pizza,
beers,
farts.
beers,
Pizza,
pizzas,
gin.
farts.
I brought expired lemonade and gin, and that's what I was drinking at 9:30 in the morning. the day of.
Oh, and it smelled like a fucking fart down there. Because there was a fart counter, and I don't know if we needed
Counter.
we needed like 5 boards to fill out the fart.
Yeah,
So that's the only reason we bought the whiteboard.
There were song titles on it.
Yeah,
Once upon a time. I remember we had like the first 3 songs of Chains written on there, and then that got erased, and then it became the pizza fart counter.
Yeah, well, now we have the set list on there, so we're trying to be more professional. We got all the songs.
The fart counter stayed, but
yeah, that's the right side of the whiteboard.
Oh, I love this, man. You guys are spirit animals.
The super behind the scenes version of the recording process.
And I don't think anybody's asked any questions about the recording process, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully people enjoy hearing us talk about it.
Yeah.
But
and Pete's our boy.
Sure.
So
yeah,
that's kind of the method.
Well, if you guys gone from doing an album in a day to now 2 or 3 weekends, I guess next is a month in El Paso with Bob Rock. Very big fart board.
Yeah, I've been reaching out, seeing if he's available.
Right. If that's okay for it, then
we're coming out with the purple album next.
Yeah.
I feel like
don't tell Baroness.
For how like simplistic of a drummer I am, I'll never be like in the studio for longer than a day.
I don't really understand it.
I just like, I'm a perfectionist, and I would rather just get it than like be too flashy, which is probably not good sometimes because there's probably more spice I could add to the record, but I would rather just lock in, get the song done as best I can, and like move on, and then just kind of hang out the rest of the time. But I don't know, who knows where Wraith 5 is going to take us and kind of what we're doing. Maybe we'll end up with Bobby Rock in the desert or something.
No, but like there's an argument for keeping it simple as well. Like a couple of episodes back, I was chatting with Luana from Crypta, and she said that their front woman, like she plays the bass as well, and sometimes she wants to put in a flashy lick, but then goes, hang on, it's metal, you got to perform it. Sometimes just keep it simple like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to find the balance for sure.
The big time. So your first couple of releases you guys release on your own, but this is the first album coming out on Redefining Darkness Records. What has that been like? How has that been different for you?
So it's actually the second record. Absolute Power was technically released by Redefining Darkness Records.
Well, I thought that one was self-released.
Yeah, we put it out ourselves, and then that's when they scooped us up, like after it was already out, right?
Yeah, I think he emailed us like 4 days after that we released it.
But having the ability to work with Thomas and Redefining Darkness for one full campaign has been awesome, because I think like Absolute Power got kind of popular organically, like just people finding it, which is really cool. But like this was our first chance, like actually scheduling singles to be released and doing press, and having him send copies to people to review like it was just it was I think what Absolute Power could have benefited greatly from. So it was great to have the chance to do it for something that we all felt so strongly about.
Yeah. And me and Matt are like the most we can't wait for shit.
Yeah, we're
so
just
like
not patient people.
Yeah, so when we were doing the Absolute Power, we're like, fuck it, just release Absolute or Devil's Out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Instead of like any hype about it.
Yeah. So it's been nice to have somebody to kind of rein us in and like make sure we're doing it in a strategic way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome, man. And one last thing I wanted to ask you about as well was your merch it's a long fucking list. You guys have so much different merch, man, from t-shirts, patches. But what stands out to me is the vinyls and the cassettes. Is that a big passion for you guys, the cassettes?
Yeah, I think absolutely.
Yeah, I think cassettes are just real cheap to make, and
I think it's cool. Like, it's a throwback thing. Like I started getting into collecting vinyl probably about, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. My friends all chipped in and got my wife and I a record player and like a setup for a wedding gift. So it's pretty cool. When we finally had the space to set it up. I started hitting the thrift stores and old used stores and just, buying up all I could just because I enjoy it. It's such a cool medium to appreciate music. I feel like it's such a ritual. And it's cool, that all our modern bands, a lot of our peers have kind of gotten back into that, and that the format's gotten so big. So I think like the variants we have for Power were sick, but the ones for Chains, we're probably a couple weeks we'll get them and they'll start shipping out. But they just look so sick, and it's such a collectible thing at that point. It's kind of I think combined with like cassettes, like I remember listening to old cassettes and 8 tracks and shit with my dad, when he picked me up from preschool when I was 3 years old or whatever like that. It's like I never thought that would be something that would come back in such a big way, but it's such a cool just thing to have, and it's, I don't know, just to have that physical aspect of music still, I think is great.
I also think having the ability to do like different stuff. So like the cassette tapes are gold, you know, and the records are not gold, and the CDs obviously silver. So it's like just one more thing that makes it unique. And like if it's your thing to collect tapes, then cool, you get one that doesn't look like any of the other releases, you know, and it just gives us more kind of like artistic freedom and create. Like we all love talking about merch, and we love coming up with designs, and we love the idea of picking colors and stuff like that. So for us, it's fun just to like, all right, well, what if the vinyls look like that, what's the tape gonna look like, you know? And then we have a whole conversation about that. So it just is, honestly, it's enjoyable for us too.
Yeah, we picked those variants of the colors for the vinyl, and we were like kids at Christmas. That was so fun. Like, oh shit, we can try this, and we got to do this, and you know, and it was just such a blast. So,
was that a tough decision to narrow it down?
I told them they had a deadline.
Yeah. Well, I set a date.
Yeah, we got like a book from Redefining, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like a shit ton of different variants, just solid colors, splatters, you know, different. There was like a Batman fucking logo one or something.
Which we were going to do.
Which actually would have been pretty tight. Maybe we'll do that for like a split Batman theme and the, you know, whatever.
We might get sued.
Yeah. But
that is
we kind of took our time to narrow it down to those two variants, the splatter and the Galaxy version, and like I couldn't be happier with those. Once again, I feel like they fit in right with like the cover art, and it just all makes sense, and people dig both of them. So definitely happy with that.
Oh, it's fucking awesome, man. And you clearly have a loyal fan base snapping this stuff up.
Seriously, yeah, we can't. Like, if I could spend the whole time talking about fans, like, it's been awesome. Yeah, that's the reason that we can do it. That's what I always say. Like, it'd be one thing, we would probably all still play music if we didn't have fans. We would still get together on Wednesdays and write songs. But the fact that there's an audience for it, like, means the world to us, because it allows us to kind of live out our dreams, and we have the ability to create stuff, and there's an audience for people who can, you know, get hopefully some enjoyment out of it as well. You know, like I don't think people understand that it's just as satisfying for the band as it is for people that are consuming the music, because we're all music fans. Like we nerd out about releases when they come out on Fridays, and Jason sends me links in the middle of the night. Like, dude, when you wake up tomorrow, you got to listen to this. So like, we get it, you know, we do all that same shit. So the fact that people do it for us means truthfully like everything to us as a band, for sure.
Yeah. I think the cool thing too, like with our kind of little corner of the underground here, like, obviously we're all music fans and our fans are music fans, but it's been really cool to me to see like just the amount of fans that become friends. You know, we meet them at a show, they come see us play, we talk with them afterwards, and then all of a sudden we've got these friendships that spring up, and you know, it's just organic. It's cool. You know, we're using a lot of the social media tools, I think, in ways that, you know, you think like, oh, it's just clickbait and it's just, you know, whatever BS, and you're just sitting there scrolling all day mindlessly. But we've been able to use it, and to Chris's credit, Chris mainly, you know, has been able to use it in a way where we can organically actually talk to the fans, which is great. I love getting a message from someone saying, hey, the album's killer, this is great, you know, what were your influences, or what are you listening to? And, you know, starting that conversation, man, that's so cool. For sure. That's what metal's about, you know, so I love it.
Time. Yeah. And like I posted something about the new album last week, and then I got a follow on Instagram from some guy I'd never heard of, but in his description of himself was biggest Wraith fan. I'm like, that tells me everything I need to know. Yep.
Poland. Yeah.
Poland.
Yes, exactly.
Of course you guys know him.
Yeah.
He's actually been following us the longest.
He's been there from like day one, and he said we've been his favorite band since the first album. So and he's bought every single piece of merch. The only thing that he actually didn't get was the lighter, because I couldn't ship it overseas. Just a little tidbit right there. He's literally
cheers to him, though.
Cheers.
Super cool dude.
Michael, I think is his
Always
name. Right?
Well, now he knows that.
Well, he's from Poland.
Well, Nostrovia, Michael.
Nostrovia.
That's Russian. And since I'm talking to you guys, I want to say thank you, Sid, for sharing about this band called Wraith on Instagram a couple of years ago when I was on holidays. I'm like, cool, I have time to check a thing out. And yeah, that was when Absolute Power just came out, and here we are. But guys, we have gone way over time. I'm eating into your evening. So to wrap up, we always have a quick little lightning round. Very simple. I'll throw you out two things. You just pick one, right?
All right. We're ready.
Okay.
Start with Jason.
Yeah,
we'll go around.
let's get some structure here.
Oh, I like that. A bit of order.
We'll
so,
at the end.
On tour, would you rather have a good feed or a good bed?
Good bed.
Good bed.
Bed.
Yeah, bed.
Interesting.
Yeah, slept in some. Yeah, man.
Bed.
Good bed.
From the other day when you woke up with a broken back.
Yeah, good bed.
All right.
No, that's good. Pyrotechnics or a light show?
Oh, lights for me. I think lights are cool. We need to do a lot with lights.
Pyrotechnics.
Yeah, pyro.
Yeah, some fire. I want fire.
Yeah, fire.
Def Leppard concert.
It's a Wraith song.
Yeah, but in a small venue, you can't beat a good strobe light, though, can you?
That's true.
Ice cream or popcorn?
Oh, ice cream. Like ice cream.
Fuck. Ice cream.
I'm gonna say popcorn.
Ice cream. Fuck that.
I'm a savory guy.
I get stuck in my
I'm
throat.
a sweet and savory.
Put the popcorn in the ice cream.
Ooh, that's a game-changing move. Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone?
Oh man, that was actually
Schwarzenegger.
really
Yeah.
tough for me.
Schwarzenegger.
Honestly, I don't know much about either of them. I don't watch many movies or know much pop culture stuff.
Terminator or Rambo?
I don't know either of those.
Okay.
Wow,
Never
I'm gonna go with Sly. Just as Cobra. Like as soon as you said that, I thought Cobra.
You're not wrong.
I'll go Arnold. I just love
All
Predator.
right. So, municipal waste or havoc?
Waste.
Waste.
Waste for me.
Yeah,
I love
Waste.
Havoc, but Waste is such an important band
Yeah.
for me.
Waste.
big
Same here.
Yep.
I would have said waste until last year. That last Havoc album is just
Yeah, I actually bought a cool
wild.
variant of that, but I still got.
So
Yeah.
the fans' money gets passed on. I like that.
Yeah.
And the all-important final question on every Coffin Nail interview: Star Wars prequels or sequels? Can't have the original trilogy.
Oh, for me, prequels. I thought they should be bed with the sequel trilogy. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know what
He
was.
means the-
I like Star
Oh,
Wars. I don't know what
yeah.
it was.
So
Guy-
episode. I'm referring to episode 1, 2, 3.
Or
Yeah.
the ones you followed in the last 5 years.
I like Jar Jar Binks.
All right, so
Okay,
Wait,
two for
wait,
prequels.
fucks with Jar Jar Binks.
I'm gonna say prequels.
Yeah, fuck the
Yeah,
sequels. I don't know.
episode 9 was so
Yeah.
stupid, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
Oh.
if that you would choose. I don't
Yeah,
mean to
yeah.
offend.
What would you choose?
Oh, he's changing his
Years
mind.
of-
He was gonna say
Film by film is
We're talking Speed Racers. or-
prequels, but I think the sequels could have been better because either let J.J. Abrams do his whole, it's kind of like before but new, or Last Jedi was like, fuck everything, we're doing something different.
Yeah, exactly.
like,
It was just-
Man,
Clusterfuck.
I'm cool with either. I don't care
Yeah.
if they do the same thing again with better effects, or if they want to start over, just pick a lane.
yeah, yeah.
my buddies and I do a sci-fi podcast, and we literally had like 2-hour episodes on every new one, and it was so funny how controversial it all was. But I
Yeah.
remember for episode 9, we were like,
What's episode 9 called?
what is it?
Rise
Rise
of Skywalker.
of Skywalker.
You have to watch that when it's your home.
But I was cool with 7 and 8, man. 7, I
might have
like
seen it.
Force
I don't remember
Awakens.
I
I
didn't
dug
like-
it.
I didn't like the middle one. That one sucked ass.
See, I like that one. That's controversial though, because a lot of people hate that one.
I like Harry Potter. Think about Harry Potter.
There we go. It was a trick question. You're right. It's Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
On that note,
Every day.
we'll let you go to bed. It's probably like 1:30
Yeah,
in the
man.
morning for him.
It
Yeah,
is,
so-
but it's been absolutely worth it, guys. If anyone hasn't heard Undo the Chains, new album by Wraith, available now on Redefining Darkness Records, guys, go check it out. And boys, thank you for your time. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Appreciate
thanks,
it, man.
Lightbreaker.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
We'll catch you
Cheers,
around, man.
guys.
Good night.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. It's YouTube, so you know the drill. Be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications about any future interviews I post here on the channel, because you never know who it's going to be. Could be Scott Stapp. Could be someone good. But like and subscribe, and there'll be a new interview every second week. Better still, you can listen to the Coffin Nail live on Keith FM, that's KEITHFEM.com, every second Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. German time. And for everything Coffin Nail related, go to thecoffinnailradio.com for full episodes, interviews, and exclusive articles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.